No, there will be a direct foreign investment in South Africa, because direct foreign investment, it depends on the stability of a country.
How do you reassure the foreign investors?
No, you must give me a chance to speak. Unless you want to have this interview with yourself, then we can give you a chance to speak alone.
Okay. It's a sort of version of communism, isn't it?
It's socialism. We are unashamedly a socialist organization.
It doesn't have a great record of success, this form of government in history, or really much of a record of success at all, does it?
It does.
If your economic agenda, the agenda of the EFF, were to be implemented in this country, it would become an economic basket case overnight. Already the IMF has just downgraded the GDP forecast for this country, 0.6%. That's very, very small indeed. I mean, is this the right time to be making these sorts of pronouncements? Is that responsible, do you think?
They are not downgraded under a socialist state. They are downgraded under a capitalist state. Capitalism is failing.
Tell me a little bit more about the policies of the EFF to bring about this defeat of white monopoly capital.
Well, we are representing a nationalization of mines. We believe that the state must own the mines and use the proceeds from the mines to finance the social program of government. We are for expropriation of land without compensation, because the land was taken by force and through committing of black genocide. We are for free quality education, healthcare, and big and spacious houses. We are an anti-corruption organization which believes that those who are elected to represent our people should be held accountable. We want to build state capacity to destroy the tendering system which has corrupted South Africa. Those are amongst the key 7 cardinal pillars of the EFF.
It's a sort of version of communism, isn't it? Something like that?
No, it's socialism. We are unashamedly a socialist organization.
It doesn't have a great record of success, this form of government in history, or really much of a record of success at all, does it?
It does. China is one example of the success of a socialist state. Cuba is one of the example of the success of a communist state. And they did very well under very difficult conditions of economic embargo imposed on them by America. You can imagine that if Cuba was allowed to trade with anyone they wished to trade with, they would have done far much better.
I've heard more than one economist, and one reads many things about economists, speaking with concern, saying that if your economic agenda, the agenda of the EFF, were to be implemented in this country, it would become an economic basket case overnight. Already the IMF has just downgraded the 2016 GDP forecast for this country, 0.6%. That's very, very small indeed. The ratings agencies are on the verge of downgrading South Africa's bond status to junk. I mean, is this the right time to be making these sorts of pronouncements? Is that responsible, do you think?
They are not downgraded under a socialist state. They are downgraded under a capitalist state. Capitalism is failing. That's why the IMF, the World Bank, and rating agencies are downgrading a capitalist economy. So you cannot use that to want to argue that socialism cannot succeed in South Africa.
So you don't think being frozen out of international markets, putting off international investors is a problem?
We are at a point when alternative should be introduced, because that which you are pointing at, trying to vulgarize socialism, is clear evidence of a failure of a capitalist system.
Socialism, but what I'm suggesting is
don't personalize things. Me and you are having a conversation. We are quoting. You're saying I'm not talking about you. You are quoting economist.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that which you are quoting, because it's you who's making the quote, that which you are quoting is a clear evidence of a capitalist system failing. South Africa is under capitalism.
But what you are suggesting by saying this is that South Africa can exist perfectly well outside of the international structures of finance, outside of international investment. You don't need it here. If you put them all off, you'll be just fine.
Who said under socialist state there's no foreign investment? Because there is a foreign investment.
I'm suggesting they might not want to put their money here if they think that there is expropriation without compensation, if they think that their businesses will be nationalized.
No, there will be a direct foreign investment in South Africa, because direct foreign investment, it depends on the stability of a country.
How do you reassure the foreign investors?
No, you must give me a chance to speak, unless you want to have this interview with yourself. Then we can give you a chance to speak alone.
Okay.
Because you're asking me questions, I'm responding to them, and that's the whole intention of this conversation. So we are going to ensure that we take control of our own economy. We're going to ensure that we take control of our own land, and those who want to invest in our country, they're going to do so through our own terms. Their businesses will be safe for as long as they will help to grow the economy of South Africa. If they want a piece of land, they will get that piece of land, but they will not own it. They will lease that piece of land for whatever years they so require to lease the piece of land, as long as that is aiming at creating jobs and growing the South African economy. And there will be a stable government. Their investment will be 100% protected. And there is no blood in South Africa. There is no civil war in South Africa. It's just a change of political system.
Local elections are coming up shortly, in just a few months' time. Will you do better, do you think, in these local elections than the 6% you got in the 2014 general election?
We got 6% when we were less than a year old. And I think that and we are going to be turning 3 years now. So every year represents 6 years. So the first year we got, every year represents 6% rather. The first year we got 6%, then there is another year, and then this is the third year, so we must get 6% 3 times.
That 6% per annum calculus of yours would put you by 2019, the general election, pretty much in a position to govern the country. Is that what you expect?
Absolutely. That's what we want.
The next general election?
We want to take this country by 2019. And if we don't take this country by 2019, we must be an official opposition with a clear direction of taking over power, because we said from the beginning we are a government in waiting.
Do you envisage the need for partners? Can you see yourself in coalition with the Democratic Alliance?
Absolutely. We can work with the DA, we can work with the UDM, we can work with anyone who represents clean governance, anyone who wants to restore the dignity of black people. We are not going to work with any party, particularly the DA. It will have to outline to us how is it going to empower, in partnership with us, the black nation, which is still under an economic oppression, is still under an economic apartheid. We're not going to partner with anyone who wants to bring white dominance and control through a back door. So the DA will have to outline itself as to how do we ensure that we take our people out of the shacks? How do we make sure that the black middle class gets paid the same salary with white counterparts for the same job? Because that is not the case today. And if the DA doesn't outline that, will not be in any partnership with them. We want a party that is ready to empower the black nation.
Do you have anything positive at all to say to the whites of this country, the 10% that makes up the white population?
Well, they are part of South Africa. This is their country, and many of them have demonstrated their love for this country. Many of them want to contribute to the positive development of this country.
They're all racists, for instance.
I've never said that. I've never said that. Of course, if you were to refer me to a specific report so that I can respond to a specific article, I don't know of such an article. All I said is that we want a country where we're all equal. My fighting for black people does not mean the oppression of white people. I'm fighting to liberate black people so that they can be at the same level with white people.
Well, what about
and we don't see each other as white and black, but we see each other as human beings.
What about the language of incitement then? Where does that fit into that paradigm? Because as you said this weekend, you said whites are the real enemy. They've stolen the land. We'll steal it back. You said also that black people, just a few days ago, should have more babies so that they can keep up their majority over the white people. This is not inclusive language, is it?
No. The people who took our land is white people. When we say we want our land, we don't want it from the sky. We want it from white people. So that's why we're saying we want our land from them. They've taken our land, and they've taken our land through a black genocide. Secondly, when I say black people must reproduce for sustainability of our ideas, it doesn't mean white people must not reproduce. If they want to reproduce, they are free to do that. All I'm saying to our people is that we are fighting for economic freedom. And for these ideas to be sustainable, we have to reproduce ourselves.
There you have it, guys. Julius Malema is usually full of these revolutionary speeches. Sometimes you wonder where he gets them from. But whatever the case is, we really hope that his wisdom transcends, and really contributes to the development of Africa and in helping solving Africa's really myriad of challenges. But what do you guys think about his speech? Share your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for watching, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please share and like and subscribe, because that's the way you support Kwazemi as a channel, an Afrocentric channel, where we try to understand deeper issues in African history and hopefully develop a collective intelligence on how we wish to build the Africa we want to see as people of Africa. See you in the next one.